Morning, boys and girls. This is a test, and it's my first Loom that I've done at my desktop at school, so please bear with me. I just wanted to walk you through your writer's notebooks that we'll be using this year. Those of you that were here in sixth grade, and maybe you had Mrs. Hayes or you had Mrs. Lang, you should be familiar with your reader's writer's notebook. For right now, we're going to keep it all in one notebook. The expectation is that when you meet for a class, whether it's virtually or in person, that you have your notebook readily available. We'll be using it a lot this year. As far as the setup goes, I figured I'd walk you through, and this is a quick video that you can refer back to. My plan is to set up the notebooks in class. Obviously, if you're not in physical class with me, this is something that you'll be doing at home. If you didn't bring your notebook to class, then this is something that I would be asking you to do from home as well. So if you just take a look, I'm going to kind of close out of here, and I'm going to show you how I have set up my reader's writer's notebook. So this is my notebook from last year. As you can see, it's labeled. I would ask that you make sure that you have your name. So I've got Mrs. Sutton here. I've got the school year. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to also include Blue 7. Just that way, if it gets separated from you, people in the building know that I'm the 7th grade ELA teacher, and they can get that to me. When you open up your single subject notebook or your composition notebook, the first thing that you're going to make is your what I am reading list. So for me to do my list, I had a Sharpie and I had a ruler. I had a straight edge. I made the following categories: the title of the book, the author I'm going to keep track of in case that there's an author that I find that I really like this year, the total pages in the book, the date that I approximately started it, the date that I finished the book, or it could be the date that you abandoned it. Please don't stick with a book that you're not really loving. The whole idea of independent reading is that you're actually loving it and you're enjoying it. And then last year we did something where we gave it a rating. You could use your own rating system. I usually do a scale of a 1 to 5, 5 being like one of my favorite all-time books. And then right here it says a one-word review. So if you could summarize the book in one word, what would it be? That's just like it's like a trigger word or a common word for you to go back to and say, okay, well, this book, if you're suggesting it to a friend, I found this book to be comical. I found this book to be full of conflict you could have. So again, that's just a one-word review. What I did in my notebook, I actually have this page, but if I flip to the next page, I kept this page blank. This is college rule, so the lines are pretty small. I may go on to the back of this page. I might not. And last year, it really depended on the student as a reader who went on to a second page. So that's my first little section here. Again, it's just what I'm reading. So you're just keeping track of the books that you're reading and potentially a book that you start that you might abandon. The next section, what I did just to kind of make a little tab, and again, I'll just adjust my camera here. It's like a bad roller coaster ride. So bear with me here. There we go. So I have my quick writes section. I just folded over the piece of paper, and with a Sharpie, I just wrote quick writes. So it's easy for me to get to. What we're going to be doing in this section this year, and you probably have done something similar, this is where we might do like a stop and jot, where I might say, okay, after we've watched this video, write something down that stuck out at you. Write something down that's confusing. You might sketch, you might draw in here. It could be as you're reading, after you've watched something. So quick writes, it's pretty open-ended, and I use them at various points during the school year. So that's our main section for right now. I'm not really going to break the notebook up into anything else. The only other section I'd ask you to have would be in the very last page. So what I did just now, again, let me get back here. So here's my notebook. In the front, I have my what I'm reading. Then in my next section, I have my quick writes. But then I'm going to flip my notebook over. I'm going to go actually to the last page. And this is kind of weird because we're used to going from front to back, but now we're going to go back to front. So if you open it up, this is where I'm going to keep track of what I'd like to read. So over the next several weeks, you're going to hear me do some book talks. You're going to hear from some of your classmates that are actually freshmen this year, some videos where they're going to recommend some books to you, and I might even have some special guests. The whole point of this list, it's almost kind of like your wish list. I'm notorious for, I hear a song, I hear a title, something that I might like to read or listen to eventually. If I don't write it down, I forget it. So I'm literally just going to leave this as bullets, and I'm going to jot down the title. I'd like to try to get the author if I can, and then maybe who recommended it to me. That way I know I've got a point person to go back to. So again, this is kind of like your wish list. As you hear me go over books over the next couple of weeks, just kind of keep like a running record or a list of what you would like to read. I find this to be super helpful. I also use an app on my phone called Goodreads. That's another way that I keep track of what I would like to read and what I'm currently reading and what I've already read. So the expectation is when we get into full swing next week, you have your writer's notebook with you every day. That's the day that you're in class with me, but also while you're at home. You will find that you'll see activities and assignments that you'll have to complete in your writer's notebook. I need it to be organized and labeled. So again, you've got your name, school year. If you want to put blue 7 on it, it's probably not a bad idea. You need to have 3 sections that are clearly labeled. You have your what I'm reading list. And again, you can make it, you can tell Mrs. Sutton's a little type A here. I've got my straight edges here. So I've got my what I'm reading list. I have my quick writes section ready to go. We'll be using this soon. And then in the very back of my notebook, I have my what I'd like to read list. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to email me. We should be getting some class time. Those of you that will see me in person, I'll be giving you some class time to set this up as well.